We've reached the end of part 4, and like each part before it, it comes down to one reflex you can carry for the rest of your life. Part 1 gave you the clock. I'll call you right back. Part 2 gave you the callback. Never use a number they gave you. Part 3 gave you the payment pause. Why does it have to be this way? And Part 4 gives you the rule that governs every slow, patient, relationship-based scam in this book. No money to anyone you haven't met in person. Ever. No exceptions. And for any large or unusual financial decision, 2 weeks between the idea and the money. A delay no legitimate opportunity is harmed by, and no scam survives. 2 rules. 1 principle. The long con needs your money to move before the spell breaks. Everything in this part, the romance, the mentor, the investment platform, the visit that never happens, the prize still processing, depends on you acting while the feeling is strong. Time is the one thing none of them can survive. So Part 1. The never rule. No money to anyone you haven't met in person. Not a loan, not an emergency, not a small amount to help out, not an investment, not a prize fee, not a travel expense. This one is deliberately absolute, because exceptions are exactly what these scams are built to manufacture. Every case will feel like the exception. That's the product. A rule with no exceptions requires no judgment in the moment. And that matters enormously, because judgment in the moment is precisely what months of manufactured intimacy are designed to compromise. Notice how much it covers on its own: the sweetheart's hospital bill, the mentor's platform, the visit's customs fee, the fees on a prize, the crypto opportunity from a stranger. One sentence, and the entire category is closed. Now Part 2, the 2-week rule. Some decisions involve people you have met, a new acquaintance, a contractor, a relative, a salesman at a seminar. So the second rule handles speed rather than strangers. For any large or unusual financial decision, put 2 weeks between the idea and the money. Not to research it, not to think harder, just to wait. Because here's what 2 weeks does that analysis can't. It breaks urgency, which is the shared engine of every scam in this book. It outlasts the emotional state the scam depends on: the fear, the excitement, the infatuation, the flattery. It creates space for another person to hear about it and react. And it doesn't require you to be right. You don't have to detect anything. You just have to be slow. And the test built into it is beautiful. Watch what the delay does to the other person. A legitimate opportunity survives 2 weeks intact. A scam responds with pressure, a shrinking deadline, an offended tone, or disappearance. And every one of those responses is your answer, delivered by them, for free. Now, why do these two together close the part? The scams in Part 4 are the slow ones. They don't rely on shocking you into a fast mistake. They invest weeks or months, so that when the ask finally comes, it arrives from someone you trust, and doesn't feel like a scam at all, because by then it isn't a stranger asking. Against that suspicion is a weak defense. Structure is a strong one. These 2 rules work precisely because they don't depend on how you feel about the person, how convincing the story is, or how sharp you are on the day. They're decided in advance, in calm times, and applied without judgment when it counts. Here's what I do. I decide both rules now, while I'm calm and nobody's asking me for anything. Because a rule adopted in advance is one I can apply when I'm frightened, flattered, or in love, which is exactly when my judgment can't be trusted. I'd hold the never rule absolutely, and I'd expect every real situation to feel like the exception. That feeling wouldn't sway me. I'd treat it as confirmation that the rule is working, since manufacturing exceptions is the whole business model. And I'd use the 2 weeks as a test, rather than a study period. I don't need to outthink a professional. I just need to be slower than their timeline. A legitimate opportunity is completely unharmed by a fortnight. A scam either applies pressure or vanishes, and both of those answer the question for me. The story can be perfect, and the person can be lovely, but if they can't survive 2 weeks, they were never real. So let's run both rules across the whole part. The sweetheart with the hospital bill never met, so no. The mentor's investment platform never met, so no. The prize that needs one more fee never met, so no. The seminar salesman with a guaranteed return and a Friday deadline, you met him. So the 2-week rule applies. You tell him you'll decide in a fortnight, and watch what he does. The contractor with today-only pricing, same. In every case, you didn't have to unravel the story, spot a lie, or be clever. You just applied a rule you'd already decided on, and the scams eliminated themselves. You now carry 4 reflexes: the clock, the callback, the payment pause, and the 2-week rule. Together, they cover nearly every scam in existence, the fast ones and the slow ones alike. And notice what they have in common. Not one of them requires you to be suspicious of the people you love or to live afraid. They just require you to be a little slower than a criminal's timeline. Part 4 is complete. What remains is locking the doors, and if something has already happened, how to recover.